Yo, what's going on? Dom here with DeathlessTV. Today we're going to be looking at a bunch of, in my opinion, highly underrated deathcore bands that I think should have made it way bigger. Some of these bands, just for one reason or another, didn't get their big break or eventually broke up without actually gaining really big success. And it's funny because now a lot of these bands have been seeing these reissues or 10-year anniversaries and stuff like that. And there's like a really big niche of dedicated people to buy these albums and buy these reissues and go out to these reunion shows and stuff like that. Well, when shows are going on, but you get what I'm trying to say. So I just wanted to go through and, check out some old bands that I think deserved a lot more praise considering what they were doing, especially at the time. So, let's get right into it. So, Belay My Last put out a single album, this is it, called The Downfall, and this was, I believe, in 2007. So this is really when deathcore was starting to pick up, and despite deathcore being so new, I feel like this band really put the technicality and melody into deathcore that most bands up until this point hadn't really done. So great job for cowboy-esque vocals. Next band we've got is a band called Fallen Figure. This band put out one album, and essentially their main guitarist is Dan Sugarman, which used to be a part of As Blood Runs Black. He wasn't on their Allegiance album, but he was on everything afterwards, I do believe. And in all honesty, I think I prefer this album more than most of what As Blood Runs Black has put out. Dan is also a member of Ice Nine Kills now, so you can kind of see the influence on these songs. Very traditional, kind of old school deathcore, but with a really solid production and some really cool ideas. So, yeah, let's just listen to it. Very generic kind of deathcore riffing, but at the time was still. I love how this comes in. Great production on this album. Alright, next up we've got Shadow of the Colossus. Honestly, this might be my favorite deathcore album ever. Just something about the speed, the drumming is absolutely insane on this album. Vocals are crazy. This to me is what a mature technical deathcore band sounds like, and not many bands have been able to achieve this kind of sound. No gimmicks, just super straight to the point. They have 2 albums out, and this was the first of the 2. But despite that, they were under another name, Fate, which were on Metal Blade before doing this band. And before that, were a band called the Bello Castrum, and that was super, very old school deathcore right from the beginning. So these guys have been doing deathcore since deathcore was a thing, and it really shows within this album that they took the time to really progress and hone in on a sound that's their own, because this is kind of similar to what Fate sounded like as well, but this is just the most refined and polished that these guys have ever sounded. And yeah. I think A Different Breed of Killer were one of the bands that really solidified what like a deathcore riff was. All of the material was super cliche deathcore, but that's by today's standards. These guys were really paving the way for deathcore bands in general, but had a lot more technicality, and again, just like all the other bands mentioned before, a lot of melodicness to them that most bands kind of don't have in the deathcore realm. A lot of deathcore came out of metalcore, like metalcore riffing kind of tweaked into what became a deathcore sound, and this is one of those bands that I feel like a lot of the riffing is pretty close to what would be considered metalcore, but with the vocals, the style of drumming, with the breakdowns, everything put together really make for some classic style deathcore. Alright, last but not least, Belie My Burial. These guys had a pretty original sound again. They had this one song called Finish Him that was super popular. It has something like 1.5 million views online and stuff, but they released a few EPs after that, and I don't know, just kind of faded away. They just never... I don't think the hype ever continued after that first like breakout hit. And this album, this self-titled album, is just absolutely insane. I don't know if it's the producer they worked with. I don't know if it was just them trying to do their own thing, but I feel like Belie My Burial really tried to make something different and tried to stick out from the traditional deathcore that everyone else was doing. Again, these guys had been doing deathcore for years when this album came out, and you can really tell that these guys had kind of made it their own and tried some new things, and it really shows in the recordings. It's one of those things that's weird because now you listen to it and it might sound cliche, but again, this is because bands like this made it become the new norm, right? So I think Belie My Burial, for one reason or another, never really made it that big. They weren't doing big tours. They didn't, I don't know if it was something with the members like not being able to, or the industry not having it out for them, but those guys really put out some incredible music over the years and should have been definitely a lot bigger than that they did. That's gonna be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'd be curious if you guys have any other kind of favorite underground deathcore bands that you think should have made it a lot bigger than they did. Let me know in the comments below. I'm genuinely curious. And if you want to talk a bit more about music, you can go check out the Discord channel that I've created. It kind of revolves around this channel. I'll be trying to use it to kind of feed into the content on this YouTube channel, and basically I've got it split up between different genres, and we've got memes, and we can talk about gaming and a whole bunch of different things, just like-minded individuals trying to discover some new music. So yeah, if that's something you'd be interested in, I've got the link for that down below. If you're not subscribed to the channel, would greatly appreciate it if you did. Give this video a big old thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in the next video. All right, bye.